So this video I'm going to talk about why you should buy brand new BSM or engine bay fuse box instead of used one. Like I've always said in some of my articles or videos that I prefer the brand new one to the used or second-hand fuse box. Now, just recently, there's this Peugeot 307 that had a symptom of BSM failure. Now, the owner said he couldn't afford the brand new one, so we decided to check if we can get a good used one. Now, we've done about 4 BSM swap. Went to market, bought one, swapping, the vehicle will start, every other thing will work, but then there will just be one component that won't be able to perform or function. For example, let's give you an instance. In this case, you put everything, the first BSM I mounted, the AC refused to power, the AC compressor refused to power, even though the blower, every other thing was working. Remove it, took it back, bought another one, mounted it. This time around, the AC compressor started to spin once you press the command button, but then the blower refused to work. Took it back. Now this time collected 2 more and came so that at least one of the 2 will eventually work. Mounted the first one. Now the AC and the compressor worked, but then the power steering refused to work. Mounted the 4th one. Every other thing works, but the headlight refused to work. See, there's something people need to understand. If you are buying a used fuse box, don't assume that it's a brand new. You do not know the condition at which the fuse box was before the vehicle was removed from the vehicle, before it was sold. Even though you could call it fully used, doesn't mean everything on the car was working well before the car was scrapped and the parts were shipped to this part of the world to be sold as what we call tukumbo or second hand. So the fuse box controls so many things. So when you are buying a used one, you may put that used one, and probably what made you to change the fuse box may work when you put another one. For example, if it's the ABS issue, it may start working when you put another one, or maybe the fuse box failed completely, the car refused to start. You put another one, it started. But not knowing that there are so many other functions that you are supposed to test, which if you now ignore because you will be so excited, you've solved the problem with small amount of money. Only for you days later or weeks later, when you now need to test or use that function, you now realize that that function, which was working with the old fuse box, is no longer working with the recent one you mounted. So if you are buying a used one, you are likely going to experience this challenge where you may have to test more than 5. Maybe it may take up to 10. Maybe it could be only the first one you mount, or it could take up to 10. This to me, you have to keep going back and forth, spending money on translation. See, it can be very, very emotionally frustrating. So, but if eventually you want to do it, make sure you test it when you mount. Don't just focus on what has been resolved after you mounted the fuse box. Test every other function, no matter what, the horn, headlights, anything you can think of, power it on, the wiper, everything. Test everything that's electrically controlled on that vehicle. Drive, do everything before you can now say, okay, it appears everything, this fuse box is okay. Otherwise, go and buy a brand new one. So this is one of the reasons why I always recommend that people buy a brand new fuse box. As high as the costs are, it's still better for you if you can afford it. But if you cannot, I'm not saying mom must buy new one no matter what. But I'm saying at least expect to go through this test that I've just explained to you. Otherwise, you probably just wasted your money. All right.